Lieutenant Colonel Sir Merritt Livingston was no stranger to a club, but the Marlborough, he was quickly discovering, was nothing like the Guards. Here, the uniform was a suit or tuxedo. Here, the gentlemen were more the sort to be planning their next hunt, rather than reminiscing about their last tour of duty. Here, everyone cared more about who Merritt's uncle was than his most recent promotion. Just as well on that score. They may have called it a promotion when they shoved him into a desk, but they all knew it was more a nod to his health over the last 6 months. Blasted pneumonia. He'd get stronger again. He would. A bit more time, and he'd request a more active duty station. Do lighten up a bit, old boy. You look like you're facing down a platoon of enemy combatants instead of looking for a game of whist. Merritt blinked away the dark thoughts, tried to suppress a cough, and slanted an amused look at Lord Xavier. That's how one wins at whist, you know. Strategy. Skill. Xavier gave him the same look he'd been giving him since they were 8. Yes, but you'll never convince anyone to play with you if you show it. Have I taught you nothing? He had to laugh, even if it turned into that cough he'd pushed down a moment before. Lord Xavier Hastings, pampered second son of the Duke of Norwich, though Merritt tried not to hold it against him, had certainly taught him much over the years about what a congenial facade could achieve. But it came about as naturally to him as flying to an elephant. Xavier's look turned to one of concern as Merritt's cough went deep and racking, and he slapped a hand to his back. Maybe we shouldn't have come out tonight. You're clearly... Fine. Yes, the word came out choked and raspy as he clamped down on the urge to cough anew. But he was drawing attention he didn't want to draw, and that wouldn't do. He took a few careful, deep breaths, swallowed a few times, and made no argument when Xavier waved down a passing waiter and handed him a small glass of something amber. He didn't know what liquor it was and didn't much care. A sip of it did the same job as the bottle of medicine he had at home, numbing the raw edges of his throat and helping the muscles to calm from their spasm. Xavier shook his head and planted his hands on his hips. You should have stayed at home. I'm tired of being at home. You'll only set your recovery back if you push too hard. Merritt took another small sip of the drink. Cognac, perhaps? He was no expert, rarely partaking of anything stronger than a stiff cup of tea. But when he spotted a pair of wingbacks open with a fair view of the crackling fire, he aimed toward them instead of letting Xavier take him toward the whist tables. Much as I appreciate the many visits you've paid me, X, I'd have gone mad if I had to spend one more evening staring at my own walls. With exaggerated drama, Xavier splayed a hand over his heart and sank into the match of Merritt's chair.